Hello and welcome to another Just Kane. With me, Just Kane. So I want to talk today, and this isn't going to be in line with what the rest of my channel is going to be about. I want to talk today about something that I never thought I would ever be speaking about on my channel. In fact, I said I wouldn't. But I feel like I've got to. I feel like I've got to speak out now. I feel like this isn't something that I can just sit back and just say nothing about. I want to talk today about cyberbullying and the toxic cancel culture that we seem to be investing our time in just lately. The reason I don't like the cancel culture is because I think it's dangerous. I think it's toxic, I think it's dangerous, and it has caused people to kill themselves, to commit suicide, as in Caroline Flack. And now I just very quickly Googled what happened there. And it was called a frenzy. It was a frenzy of attacking her and relentlessly abusing Caroline Flack. You know, to the point where she took her own life. And it was because of the cancel culture that is still very much going on Twitter at the moment. Now, I want to start this by saying the person that I'm going to talk about, I fully agree with him losing his career. I fully agree that the videos that he made were disgusting. I thoroughly agree that he should have been investigated by the police, because some of those videos were incredibly suspect. Had he been living in the UK, I know at least one of those videos that would have been investigated by the police for being inappropriate. And the person I'm going to talk about is Shane Dawson. As I said, was it right that he lost his career? Yes. Was it right that he was cancelled? Yes, it was. However, that was a year ago. And still, a year later, he is being relentlessly attacked online. Relentlessly. Do we want to see Shane Dawson become another Caroline Flack? Took his own life purely and simply because of the online bullying? And just to demonstrate that, in one day, I counted 18 posts an hour. That's 432 posts in a day attacking Shane Dawson a year after his career was cancelled. A year has passed. And they're not nice comments. They're comments like he should kill himself, he should be in jail, he wants stringing up. But it's not just him that people are bullying. They're going after his boyfriend, Rylan, and I have something to say about that. What Shane did has got nothing to do with Rylan. He did all of that before he met Rylan. And just to put an understanding on it, what you see on these screens is 20 minutes, 30 minutes of somebody's life. That's all. Ryland sees Shane 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now here's my fear. And this is why I think they should especially leave Ryland alone. I believe that Ryland is a victim in this. these are just my opinions, by the way. They're not fact, they're my opinions. I believe that Ryland is a victim. Ryland has been manipulated by Shane into believing Shane's lies. The more you attack Ryland, the closer he gets to Shane Dawson. You're pushing him into the arms of Shane Dawson because he's got nowhere else to go. If you want Ryland to wake up and see Shane for what he is, you need to leave him alone. And that's not bullshit, that's not crap, that's fact. You need to leave him alone if you want him to wake up. Because when he does wake up, that poor man is going to need a hell of a lot of help. He's going to need a lot of support, love and kindness. Because he's manipulated. Right now, if Shane Dawson told him the sky was green, Ryland wouldn't check. Ryland wouldn't go outside and have a look for himself. Ryland would believe Shane. If Shane told Ryland that the ground was made of Swiss cheese, Ryland would put some on a cracker. Because Shane is a manipulator. Shane manipulates people, and he manipulates those people around him into believing what he says. We've heard this from Trisha Paytas, we've heard this from other people that have had dealings with Shane Dawson. We've heard this a lot. You know, and it's even worse now he's teamed up with Jeffree Star. Another one who I personally think should have lost his career. But I'm kind of glad he didn't, because he does run a business that employs over 150 people. You know, so there are 150 people's lives that would be affected if Jeffree Star lost his career. So, you know, I don't condone what he does, but I'm willing to leave it alone. And as I said, I don't support Shane, I don't like Shane, and I actually feel sorry for Ryland being caught up in the middle of this. And not just him, Morgan as well. Morgan's not done anything wrong. Morgan deserves no hate at all. It's not her fault who her brother chooses to be engaged to. What is she supposed to do? Stop seeing her brother? Ignore him? Abandon him? That's her brother. And I'm sorry, blood is thicker than YouTube. And family comes before fans. Fact. And if you don't like that, well, that's just tough, isn't it? Because that's fact. And what's behind this relentless bullying is this cancel culture that needs to stop before you cause more deaths. So if you are one of these people taking part in these hundreds and hundreds of posts about Shane Dawson on a daily basis, attacking Shane Dawson on a daily basis, and Ryland and Morgan on a daily basis, you need to stop. Before Shane Dawson becomes another Caroline Flack. Because then you'll all be up in arms going, oh, well, you know, that's awful. You know, nobody wanted that to happen, and none of you that have taken part in that cancel culture will take responsibility, although his death is on your hands. In the same way, every single person that made a horrible post about Caroline Flack, her death is on your hands. It's on your conscience. It's on your soul. And one day, when you shuffle off this mortal coil, you're gonna have to answer for those. So I hope you're proud of yourselves. But what fuels the cancel culture? That's what I want to know. What fuels it? Drama channels. Drama channels fuel the cancel culture. And I can prove it. That here in England, anybody that is of my age will know that before the invention of the internet, we had newspapers, something called a newspaper. It's a paper with writing on it, you know. Anybody under the age of 20, you know, it's a piece of paper with writing on it. Yeah, pictures, pretty pictures. You know, actual real words, not text speak, or, you know, slang words like fam, which is a ridiculous term in itself, but that's beside the point. Why somebody from Slough would choose to speak like that, I haven't got a clue, because you're from Slough, not the Bronx. I might cut that bit, but anyway. Anyway, I've lost track. It's drama channels. You know, back at anybody that under the age of 20 will remember a newspaper. And we had newspapers here in England that we would call the Daily Rag. And they were known as the Daily Rag because they were famous for taking the most pathetic storyline and blowing it out of all proportion and having sensationalised headlines like, "Oh, my 7 in a bed sex romp," when in actual fact it was 7 different people over 7 different nights. You know, they weren't all in the same bed. "I attended several orgies with so-and-so." That was headlines like that, you know. And they didn't. They attended one party that got, you know, a little out of hand and everybody ended up in a hot tub. You know, that was the actual story anyway. But drama channels are very much like these rags. They will take a tiny little clip, they will take a tiny little comment and blow it out of all proportion. And I can prove that they did that. And make it fit a narrative that suits what they want. And I can prove that. Now, a little while ago, all of these, and there was many, many more examples of this. These thumbnails and videos came out on drama channels. Garrett Watts throws shade at Jeffree Star. Only that's not technically true, is it? Because anybody that's a fan of Garrett Watts and anybody that's watched all of his videos will have picked up on something. His comment about not having a bank account full of diamonds, which is why he's renting his home, isn't a new joke. Let me demonstrate. I'm going to show you some thumbnails. I didn't feel at this point that it was appropriate for me to play any music over these, but these are the thumbnails in which Garrett Watts openly makes the same joke. So as you can see, Garrett Watts made that joke not just once, not just twice, not 3 times, but 4 times, years and years and years before this drama hit. In fact, if I was to delve deeper, I could find lots of examples of that same joke. They lied to you. I very much doubt, and I'm sure Garrett Watts could correct us if we were wrong, not that he would, because Garrett Watts is famous for not getting involved in dramas, and good on you, Garrett. That he wasn't, in fact, throwing shade at Jeffree Star. He wasn't throwing shade at Shane Dawson, because that's not Garrett's style. They took one clip and turned it to their narrative, to spread hate. They were trying to spread hate to the right person, I mean Jeffree Star, I mean absolutely, but in all reality, that's what it's for. It's to spread hate. It's not to be informative. It's not to give us the news. It's not to spill the tea. It's to spread hate. So if you followed my advice, stop watching drama channels, unsubscribe from them, because they're lying and they're toxic. They take images, they take clips and twist them to suit themselves, like those rags did back in the 80s and 90s. It's no different, and the only way to combat that is to stop watching them. Stop subscribing and go and watch something else. Because believe me, just a little hunt on YouTube, there are thousands of smaller creators like myself that are out there that are honest, that are true, that are not getting involved in dramas, not involved in scandal after scandal after scandal after scandal after scandal, that are here making videos for entertainment. All we want to do is take you away from your home for 20 minutes and delve into our world and have a laugh with us. We make our videos for entertainment. We make our videos to create joy, to spread a positive message of peace. You know, I mean, because there are 4 things in this world that I hate: racism, intolerance, prejudice, and the cancel culture. And I will never take part in any of them. None of them. Because I don't want that negativity in my life. And I'm really sorry that I've had to make this video, but somebody had to say something. Shane Dawson has been off the internet for over a year. It's time we moved on. His career ended. Leave Ryland alone so we can learn to see Shane for who he is. Because the more you throw hate at Ryland, the more you're going to push him towards Shane. And if you want Ryland to wake up and smell the beans, you need to leave him alone. You know, and my other lesson for today is that anyone can change. Anyone that was a racist in the 90s doesn't necessarily have to still be a racist in 2020. They can change. You know, and that's a good thing. And they should be commended for that, not punished for their former racism. You know, somebody that was once homophobic against homosexual people 20 years ago or 10 years ago or a year ago can change their minds and decide, actually, I don't feel like that. And they're to be commended, not punished, for their former actions. If we want this world to change, we need to encourage change. We need to celebrate when somebody has changed. We need to rejoice in it. You know, not condemn them for their past. Because you are not your past. You are who you are now. And it's who you are now that matters, not who you were. As I was saying, we need to be celebrating people's change, and we need to be encouraging people's change. I haven't even done that top button up. All this time, my chest's been out. So we need to be celebrating people's change. The fact that they're learning, they're developing, they're learning the right way to behave, they're learning the right way to be. Not destroying them and tearing them down. Because if you're constantly tearing somebody down, they're never having the opportunity to build themselves back up and be better people. And if we want a better world, we need to be educating, we need to be building people up that are wanting to change and encouraging and celebrating that change and saying thank you for changing. You know, thank you for waking up and seeing the way the world should be lived. You know, thank you for not being prejudiced anymore. Thank you for not being racist anymore. Thank you You know, at last you've got it. At last you've learned. You know, congratulations. Welcome to the human race. Because everybody can change everybody. You know, once a racist doesn't mean to say that somebody has to stay that way. Just because somebody is a bad person or has a bad attitude doesn't mean to say they have to stay that way. You know, we need to be spreading more love in the world, not more hate. You know? And that's what I wanted to come on to say today. And I didn't want to make a video about Shane Dawson. I didn't. Because I've always said I never wanted my channel to get any sort of success off the back of Shane Dawson. But having read what I've read, and not just on Shane Dawson, on the Dolan twins, on Ryan Coley and other YouTubers where the cancel culture have honed in on them, you know, and they are, it's, what you're doing is bullying. You're not holding them accountable. You're not voicing your disgust at a racist. No, you're not. You're just bullying them. Just be, and you know, I don't see you going on and attacking anybody else's merch. Only the YouTubers you don't like. That's bullying. You're bullying them. And if you're not careful, we are going to end up with a hell of a lot more Caroline Flacks, who, may I remind you, died because of you, the cancel culture. And I am talking to the cancel culture. She died because of you, and all of you that took part in sending her horrible messages. On Twitter, on DMs, on Instagram, on whatever platform you could find, you're responsible for her death. You murdered her. And if I had my way, every single one of you that sent a message to Caroline Flack, regardless of what she did, would be on trial for murder if I had my way. But it's not my way. But I will continue to stay on Twitter, and I will continue to fight against you. And you don't want to know? You come for me if you like, go for it. Because do you know what? I'm just going to ignore you because I've got very thick skin. So, that's all I've got to say for today. I'm sorry it was a very tense, I'm sorry it was a very unpleasant video, and if this has triggered anybody, I am awfully sorry. And anybody suffering cyberbullying out there, you don't have to suffer alone. Speak out. Reach out. There is a whole community of people out there like me that will stand in your corner and fight back. And if you are cyberbullying somebody, stop. So remember what I always say, everyone. Don't dream it, be it. Life is yours to make. And I wish you all peace. I wish you all love. And I really hope my message gets through. And I really hope that we can begin to understand how terrible the cancel culture is and how toxic it is and how everybody can stop taking part in it. Love you all.